Exactly, yeah. NBA guys don't know what's business. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Las Vegas for the 2025 Chestival Press Conference. Here at the beautiful Wynn Resort in Las Vegas, I am joined by none other than Jan-Henrik Buechner and our newest addition to the commentating team in Jonah Malkin. I'm going to get to them in just a bit, but before I do so, I would be remiss not to thank the Wynn for playing an incredible host to what promises to be an incredible event over the course of the next day and the coming week as we get into the main event as well. I know that we might have some questions from the audience, so I don't want to rob you all of your time, but I'll set the table a little bit as I turn to Jan-Henrik Buechner because as people are probably well aware, freestyle chess is looking to push the boundaries, event over event over event. But I would dare to say that this is the most ambitious event that we have put on just yet. Not just trying to tackle freestyle chess, but to try and smash that world together with another one in the NBA. So maybe just set the table for us. Where did this idea come from? How did the Chestival come to life? And why was it something that you felt it was a collaboration freestyle chess needed to dive into?
Yeah, thank you very much. And so, yeah, first of all, I'm very, very proud and happy that we are here at the Wynn. In my time when I lived in California for 15 years, this was my favorite place. I have been in Las Vegas many, many times. I love the Wynn, and I'm really, really happy that we have gotten this cooperation together, and together with our technical team, especially Torsten, we have done an amazing setup yet again. And as you said, it's a new level of quality, starting in Weissenhaus this year in Germany, which was great. Then Paris was even fantastic, and now this is spectacular, I would say. Yeah, our plan is basically to go around the world, but we'll talk about all this in the press conference for the Grand Slam tour. For this one is basically an additional addition to this madness of of what we have been doing since about half a year, is the Chestival, basically. So the combination of chess and basketball, and this basically came out of the cooperation with us, Derek Rose. Derek is an investor in our company. He is obviously very interested in chess, and I'm sure that you can say much more about that. But I got to know Derek, and we got along very well, and we said, why don't we do something along the side, because he had this Chestival idea anyway for last year here, and we said, let's do it together with the Grand Slam at the same time, the same setup, so we're going to save some cost, and we're going to do this all together and have this amazing setup built for the Grand Slam, also for the Chestival.
You can already see some of the names on the stage behind me, the pairings that were promised for early on. I'll jump to the other side of the table, though, Jonah, because you're coming at this from the other perspective, the NBA world, the basketball world, and you've gotten kind of sucked into this whirlwind. So just talk to me about the experience for you, very recently getting added to it, but how do you view these two worlds colliding?
Yeah, this is really exciting, and I think when you talked to Magnus about this and Derrick Rose about this, they have a shared vision, which is trying to bring together chess and the NBA. And speaking to Derrick on behalf of a lot of NBA players, there's kind of always been this stigma around athletes can't be intellectuals. And yet chess has been the ultimate forum and the ultimate space to kind of showcase a little bit more of that creativity, that higher learning. And it's kind of a fun way of maintaining competitive juices. And an event like this is perfect because it, one, elevates the brand and the image of chess, which is the hope of Magnus and all these elite chess players. But it also kind of raises awareness to NBA players playing chess. And there are so many players, a huge Rolodex of NBA players that play chess throughout the season, in their off season. And this just felt like the perfect time to bridge these two together.
I think that speaks to, in a lot of ways, the universality of chess, right? It's an old game. It's such a traditional game that pretty much everybody knows, right? But one of the things that Freestyle Chess, this company, has been trying to tackle is how to serve that universal game to the masses. And this is, I think, such an amazing way to do it. You know, you're leveling the playing field a little bit. You're taking players who are exceptional in their craft as basketball players, but who might not be as exceptional in this field. And that's a very interesting thing as a viewer, to be able to watch someone who is elite maybe struggle with some of the same concepts I struggle with at home when I'm playing chess.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much also that the thing that drove me or us to kind of do this freestyle chess tour and to bring it to the masses, because it's like the chess tournaments so far have basically been for chess players to watch, right? So it's similar, like if you say like, who's going to basketball games? It's all basketball players, right? So it's no, of course, everybody else is, because like it's a kind of ridiculous thing, right? Just right now, and we want it to be as ridiculous for chess. Like in a few years, let's say, okay, who's watching chess tournaments? It's all chess players. No, of course not. It's like, and you're not going to a basketball game because you want to know some tricks for your own game from the pros. You want to see them and you want to have experience all the magic around it. And we do the same thing, and building this together and showing that it's basically in every sport. You know, we have the analogy more with Formula One, which is also like similar. It's very boring to watch two fast cars driving by, you know, with no context, similar as to watch two people play chess with no context. But to bring it all into a bigger context, and then you have like 700 million people that know chess or play chess basically around the world, similar like I'm sure the same amount of people play basketball or know basketball.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea that what we're trying to do is broaden the scope for how watchable the game can be, right? And this is a big step towards that, creating narrative, creating heroes, and things like that. I don't want to take all of the time, though, selfishly, for myself to ask questions, so I am going to turn my attention to the audience. Feel free to raise your hand if you have anything that you'd like to ask either of the two up here. I do see one hand raised. We're going to try and get a mic over to you as quickly as possible. And fire away, my friend.
All right, how you guys doing? I'm Domati Pongo. I'm the host of Chess Not Checkers podcast, where we host quality conversations over a game of chess with thought leaders across industry. So I'm especially excited about this because, like Derrick Rose, I'm from the south side of Chicago, and chess, for a lot of us, was seen as inaccessible. And I think what's powerful is that Freestyle Chess is partnering with NBA. And so my question to you guys is, how do you think that this NBA partnership will help in exposing diverse audiences and new audiences to the game of chess, where we may see young people from inner cities or kids who weren't thought to be intellectuals taking new interest in the game? And what role does this festival and the growth of it have in that?
Yeah, from this perspective, thank you very much for your question and your interest. For us, every spectator who is not in the chess world is kind of our target audience. So, all of the fans, everybody who is kind of together with the basketball players and so on, who is following basketball players, if through the chestival and through the basketball players they are now interested in chess, you know, that is an addition of the audience. So, in addition to just bringing the players and together, like the top chess players and the top basketball players, we are also bringing all of the fans of the basketball stars to interest in what their stars are doing in chess, and thereby maybe also being interested in chess themselves.
Anything to add to that?
Well, I'll just add, I mean, that it's interesting because you think of like underserved communities when it comes to chess, but the reality is so many athletes and kids just love playing in general, and you don't need to choose one or the other. you can be able to do both. And I think someone like Derek, what he's been doing a great job of kind of augmenting is the fact that you don't have to just choose. You can continue to pursue any field that you're interested in while yet also being interested and intrigued by chess, wanting to learn about it. And to your point, he's been big on the accessibility and trying to make it available. And just like there's so many public basketball courts for people to just walk on and bring their basketball, there's so many public parks with just chessboards and being able to spread that love. And like Jan has said, it is the ultimate kind of universal language. And in many ways, like sports, it's a unifying element, and chess can be the same thing.
Yeah, just I'll add one tiny piece of that. I think exactly as you're talking about, when we're talking about a pipeline to push young people into anything, right? It's about making it accessible and making it aspirational. They have to want to do it, right? And so I think it's incredibly special to be taking two worlds where I might have this NBA player as my hero, and then this person might have this chess player as their hero. But when you see those two worlds come together, now they don't seem antithetical to each other, right? Exactly to Jonah's point. It doesn't seem like I have to choose one over the other. They're both an option. They're both something that I can aspire to. And that's, I think, what's really cool. These NBA guys have so much star power. They have so much sway over young audiences. And if they give permission to those young people to go after it, be inquisitive and curious and intellectual, then I think we're going to see more people move into that pipeline. Awesome. Thank you so much for that question. I'll go ahead and look for any hands in the air as we just have a couple minutes left to go. So make sure you guys, if you okay, yep, I got one here.
Ben Golliver with the Washington Post. You were mentioning some of the ways you can kind of increase the watchability for casual fans. What are some of the broadcast elements you have here going on this week that do that, and how'd you come up with them?
Yeah, so again, that's exactly the right target that we're having. It's basically one is to have an event where people can also watch here. It's actually the first time that we have spectators in the hall. For the previous two Grand Slams in Germany and in France, we had just a VIP limited access, so it's the first time that we expanded to the live audience. But our idea is basically coming also from the Formula One, where obviously the general public cannot really drive with the drivers together in the car, but with all the cameras you can really be very close to a Max Verstappen driving the car. And similar here, we have all the cameras, like every board has like six cameras, and we're going to distribute it to the mass audience in the world. And to bring it into a context, we have this expert stream. This was like the traditional chess expert stream. I always call it the R2D2 talk, because most people don't understand like E2, E4, whatever. It's like they get lost. And so of course we have the perfect professional stream with the best experts like Peter Liko and Judith Polgar and Niklas Uschenbett doing this. But then we introduced also the community stream with my friend here, James, on the right-hand side. He's hosting it together with Tanya Sachdev and also David Howell. And basically we talked about that they shouldn't tell the moves exactly. So with this stream, we are more said the people who are watching this are more interested in, not interested in the moves, but in the feelings of the players. And so I think James can say a lot to how this is developing and how they have evolved over the past tournaments. And we're also learning every time what we can do new. So maybe you can want to say something to that.
Yeah, picking up there, and I'll even take it a step back to when I was first approached and pitched on this idea. I mean, very selfishly, I'll admit, it felt like they were pitching a broadcast for someone of my level. And that really excited me because I have, as a 12 to 1300 rated chess player, struggled in the past to get over that barrier of the R2D2 talk in previous chess tournaments. And so, number one, giving options, right? Expert stream, community stream. You can watch this tournament in the way that you want to. I think that's something very special that maybe linear television doesn't offer in some ways, right? And here you're going to have that option as a viewer, that you get to choose the way in which you want to ingest the content. Beyond that, to put somebody like me in the position next to brilliant minds like David Howe and Tanya Sachdev, to rein them in and say, hold on, you're going into the weeds. I don't get it anymore. Come back down to earth where some of us mere mortals live and help me understand. I think that's a really cool approach that not too many people are willing to take in traditional sports necessarily, where everyone has to be an expert. Here we're very willing to say, no, you don't have to be an expert to enjoy. You don't have to be an expert to have an opinion. And that's where I can turn to somebody like Jan and say, thank you for giving us kind of the runway, the space to experiment and have fun with it. We will continue to iterate, and that's where we're very open as well to feedback across, our entire audience. What's working for you? What isn't working for you? And we'll continue to make adjustments event over event to make this a more watchable and enjoyable experience for everybody. Alrighty, I think we have time for one final quick question. We'll get this one final question in.
Okay, I promise this one is shorter.
Thank you.
But I saw some really interesting formats, the head-to-hand format. Can you talk about some of the formats you guys are using and how you guys ideated around what formats you would use for the tournament?
Yeah, so that's an additional, very good. Thank you for that question. That's really important because we are not only doing like freestyle chess, which is a different kind of setup of the position of the pieces, but also for this chestival we are doing a head-in-hand format that basically is a team chess where players who are maybe not on the same level, maybe like an expert or an amateur, and in this case one of the best chess players in the world together with one of the best basketball players of the world, doing a head-in-hand game. So one player says the piece, so the one team player says the piece, and the other one has to think which piece might he mean, and like which rook, for example, and then he has to make a decision of that. So, and that is very much entertaining. We have done that in Singapore for the first time in our event in November last year, and we're very excited to see that here, how this all unfolds, especially in this setup where we have like kind of a very friendly tournament with a charity prize fund and so on. It's going to be very exciting and very communicative. Yeah.
I think head in hand, it lends itself to a lot of mistakes being made, but in a really entertaining way, right? We're going to see a lot of faces being made as pro chess players are cringing when the NBA player reaches for the wrong pawn or something like that, and vice versa. We're going to see people jumping for joy as they find that one critical move. But I think that has its own level of excitement, but we're still giving the space for the NBA players, who are hugely competitive people, as we know, to go head-to-head in that Blitz tournament later in the day, mano a mano, who's the best, who's going to be the last one standing. So we're kind of giving them the best of both worlds, more of the fun and the hilarity, and then, of course, that opportunity to showcase how competitive they are and who will be the maybe first official best NBA chess player of all time.
Yeah, I think what's really exciting about it is obviously these NBA players are used to performing in packed arenas, 20,000 fans, and there's a certain pressure that they've become immune to in a lot of ways, being able to kind of noise that out. There's a different kind of pressure when you're just staring at 64 squares and you're standing and sitting next to the greatest chess players in the world making a move. It adds an element of intrigue that's a little bit unique, that's a little bit different, but it's exciting. And what I'm most excited for is seeing the way that their competitive personalities shine, right? Chess is a little bit more about etiquette. You're not really kind of gesticulating as much. You're trying to keep everything internal versus NBA guys, when they're upset, you typically know there's more traditional kind of trash talk that goes on. I'm curious to see how they have an outlet on the chessboard here today.
The good news, we got those cameras, though. We'll be able to get their faces just in case they're staring their opponent down or something like that. Either way, thank you again for such a lovely question. Thank you all for attending for this Chessville press conference. We appreciate you taking the time. We're going to shut things down here before we get ready to kick off the day. Appreciate you all.